Okay, so I'm just going to make this one quite quick. It's been reported today that Jeremy Corbyn has appointed Munroe Bergdorf as his LGBT plus, if you want to use all the acronyms, advisor. And this comes under a panel headed by Don Butler MP for Women and Equalities, a panel on Labour. I was going to say front bench, but on the Labour benches. Now, this is very concerning, and it also shows once again Corbyn's appalling lack of judgment. Um, I didn't hold back on my thoughts on Munroe Bergdorf. I think she's a despicable individual. Um, if you don't know, this was a transgender black model who was dropped from L'Oreal because in the wake of the Charlottesville unrest, uh, comments that she made on social media were unearthed. Not unearthed. I mean, social media, things are public anyway. She basically said all white people are a problem. Now, I was willing to give her the benefit of the doubt at the time. I thought, okay, well, maybe this is exaggerated. Maybe it's been taken out of context. But no, in the interviews she'd done since then, one of them was on this morning, she basically confirmed her attitude. This is someone who really does believe that all white people are the same. She's also displayed very hostile attitudes towards men in general, straight men in general, which makes her a misandrist, as far as I'm concerned. Um, Someone with such hateful views, who generalizes an entire race, vilifies an entire race, should not be in a senior position as an advisor on an equality board of all things. I mean, what would how would she respond to the concerns of white transgender people? Would she treat them equally, or tell them to mind the white privilege? This is someone who has arrogantly um, refused to take any responsibility for her reckless attitude. This is somebody who refuses to see the difference between white racists and white people who recognize racism and who stand against it. And as far as I'm concerned, she and her kind, I mean race baiters, are a complete disgrace to those who actually stood against racism. For example, brave white Americans who marched alongside Martin Luther King and in some cases were beaten and killed for it. And that's not hyperbole, because there were cases of Klansmen in the Deep South kidnapping white civil rights activists and killing them. Munroe Bergdorf is a disgrace. But the real issue here is Corbyn. And I think it says a lot about a leader. I mean, this was not Don Butler's decision alone. Corbyn will have had the final say. He's the leader. And it really says a lot about his judgment that he puts a hatemonger into this senior position. So that means he is downplaying the decision taken by L'Oreal. He obviously thinks she's harmless. And that is either astonishingly naive, or a more cynical look would be that he really doesn't see a problem with, even though Corbyn, as a white man, falls into her target of, people she is against. Um, not long ago, Labour had an event where white people had to pay a higher rate than ethnic minority people, and all the Corbynites were trying to say, "Oh, it's been taken out of context. It's being misreported, and all the rest of it." But there was no way around that. That is what was happening. Um, Jeremy Corbyn has a Stalin apologist as his leading advisor, Seamus Milne. Now, not long ago, I defended Jeremy Corbyn because I said that some of the claims around him being a communist spy were deeply flawed, and I stand by that. I think that some of those things have been disproven to some extent. Um, I think it is important that when we're talking about Corbyn, we are accurate. But this is not something that is a rumor. This is something that is reported, that's in the now, that has happened. And I mean, what is Corbyn's game? Why is he putting hate mongers into senior positions? I think it should be very concerning for everyone who is genuinely anti-racist, genuinely pro-egalitarian, and is wary of these sort of divisions in society. Um, I personally think there should be panel if there's panels on equality, it shouldn't be women inequality, it should be equality, period. Clearly, Corbyn's Labour isn't going to do anything, not a damn thing, about issues that disproportionately impact men. But that's just one of many concerns. I mean, Munroe Bergdorf should not be rewarded. And that's what makes me angry about this. It's rewarding a bigot. Um, and she has an enormous victimhood complex. Whenever she's challenged, she she has this entitled mentality that she alone. I mean, Piers Morgan challenged her on this, and Piers Morgan's not my favourite person in the world. Goodness knows I've got plenty of issues with Piers Morgan. But, he challenged her on this, and her whole attitude was self pity. And I think it should be concerning.